What are similar figures? To help us understand what similar figures are, let's go ahead and start off by taking a look at the figures that are on the board. Well, taking a look, we can see that they're both triangles. Now, what about their angles? Well, the angles in this triangle measure 36 degrees, 63 degrees, and 81 degrees. And the angles in this second triangle measure 36 degrees, 63 degrees, and 81 degrees. Hey, these triangles have the same angle measurements. Cool. Now, what about the sides? Well, let's take a look at this side. This side has a measurement of 5, and it sits in between the angles that measure 36 degrees and 63 degrees. Now, we can find the corresponding side in this triangle by finding the side that sits between the same two angle measurements, 36 degrees and 63 degrees. This is the corresponding side. It measures 10. You know, we could get from 5 to 10 by taking 5 and multiplying it by 2. Neat. Now let's look at another set of corresponding sides. Here we have this side. It measures 2 and sits in between the angles that measure 63 degrees and 81 degrees. Finding the corresponding side over here, we see it measures 4. And to get from 2 to 4, we take 2 and multiply it by 2. It looks like we're seeing a pattern here. But let's look at the last set of corresponding sides. Here, this side and this side are corresponding sides. They sit in between those same two angle measurements. Here we have a measurement of 4, and here we have a measurement of 8. To get from 4 to 8, we take 4 and multiply it by 2. So, we can take each of the side measurements from the first triangle, multiply each of them by the same constant, and we will get the measurements of the corresponding sides in the other triangle. All of these relationships that we've seen mean that these two figures are similar figures. Similar figures are figures that have the same shape and the same angle measurements. That's exactly what we've seen here. Both of these figures are triangles, and they both have the exact same 3 angle measurements. So they're similar figures. Now, another way of saying that these figures have the same angle measurements is to say that those corresponding angles are congruent. Now, if we have similar figures, like we do here, that means that corresponding sides are proportional. That's what we've shown right here. We can take the measurements of the sides of one of the figures, multiply each of them by the same constant, and we will get the measurements of the corresponding sides in the other figure.